So what does that mean for the price of Bitcoin? What is your projection there?
Over time, it will go up.
Bitcoin has risen by almost 1,000% over the past 12 months.
Bitcoin's run higher will last.
I don't think it's a bubble.
Well, this rally is a game changer. This is the one we've all been waiting for.
The COVID pandemic and the subsequent central bank actions is what really drove most of the institutions into this space.
I think that Bitcoin will grow in popularity this decade. This is the decade of Bitcoin.
So what does that mean for the price of Bitcoin? What is your projection there?
Over time, it will go up. If you look at the $500 trillion monetary planet and the $1 trillion, crypto asset fire burning in the core, you can expect that that will continue to expand. It's been expanding pretty rapidly. I think it'll continue to expand as it absorbs the monetary energy of the other store of value assets. So it should slurp all of the energy out of, or large portions of the energy out of the precious metals and then out of monetary indexes and broad money equity ETFs. And so there's no reason why it shouldn't go from $1 trillion to 10 trillion to 100 trillion. Over what time frame? I'm not a trader, so I don't guess by the week, by the month, even by the quarter. I mean, for me, a decade, is a target. And I'm expecting that this thing will just continue to grow forever, for my lifetime. I don't see any reason why it won't stop growing, because it's for the first time in the human race's history, and first time in 5,000 years, we figured out how to create digital scarcity on an open network. That's a one-time invention, and the protocol itself is like as profound as English or Arabic numerals. It's like once you've got a way to do arithmetic with Arabic numerals, how long will that go? Well, long time. 400 years so far, I guess, in the Western world has been going. So I don't know why this won't just continue to grow for hundreds and hundreds of years as a protocol.
You mentioned ETFs and you mentioned scarcity. We could be seeing Bitcoin's ETFs approved in the US, and there is some argument that with Bitcoin ETFs, you'll have more Bitcoin derivatives, a bigger Bitcoin's futures market, and that could ultimately create paper Bitcoin, which could take away from the scarcity of the Bitcoin market. Do you see that happening? I mean, what is your outlook on the impact of potential Bitcoin ETFs and Bitcoin derivatives being approved?
I think it's natural that you're going to see Bitcoin is the solution to everybody's problem. The big tech companies need an open monetary network to build the next generation of products. So like Square Cash, PayPal, eventually Apple, Google, Facebook, they have to build Bitcoin into their mobile wallets because they need this universal digital asset on a protocol, on a global network. Bitcoin is like base layer, the layer one of the money, and the layer two, the scalability for the civilization, it won't come from Bitcoin because Bitcoin is capped at 350,000 transactions a day. Now you could say, the critics say 350,000 transactions, that's not fast enough to be a currency. Correct. It's not fast enough. Well, if I could move an aircraft carrier every 150 milliseconds for the rest of your life and I could teleport it anywhere on Earth, it'd be fast enough to win a war. If I could move all of Manhattan 7 times a second anywhere in the universe, that'd be pretty powerful. So what Bitcoin is a settlement network to move blocks of $1 billion of energy 7 times a second between PayPal and Amazon and Google and Facebook and JP Morgan and Fidelity and Zimbabwe and the government of Turkey, right? And the government of Japan and the Bank of China. That's what that is. And it scales because we go from moving 100 million to 1 billion to 10 billion to 100 billion. If I told you I can move all of San Francisco in 130 milliseconds anywhere in the universe, well, you would think that's pretty cool. But if I said to you, oh, I've only got 7 transactions a second, Visa runs fast, you say, well, that's pretty crappy. It's just a question of what you're moving. So when you think about it like that, what you see is the settlement network is the granite upon which you build the 21st century economy. The application layer is PayPal and Google and Apple Pay and Amazon Pay and Fidelity and your life insurance policy and the ETF. And maybe it's like the city of New York borrows $10 billion, buys Bitcoin, and eliminates taxes forever to the benefit of everybody in New York. That's a derivative, right? They could do that. Turkey could go and they could buy $5 billion of Bitcoin in their central bank treasury, and then that would be worth 50 billion over the next 5 years, and they could strengthen their currency, and 50 million people in Turkey would in essence have a Turkish lira, which is a derivative of Bitcoin. So you're thinking about, how does the world scale, right? How do you scale this thing? Most people, they get it wrong. They think, well, it's got to scale on the base layer. They're just tragically uninformed. We don't need to scale on the base layer. You want to fix your country, like Nigeria or Zimbabwe? The way you fix your country is you buy $2 billion, $3 billion worth of Bitcoin, and you issue currency backed by the Bitcoin. That is the Bitcoin standard. And every one of your citizens stops starving to death, and they live a decent life. So I think that you're going to see that everywhere, right? And it's a race. Will it, who's the kingmaker? Bitcoin's the kingmaker. If Facebook adopts Bitcoin before Apple, it's good for Facebook. If Facebook doesn't, it's good for PayPal. If PayPal doesn't, it's good for Square. If Apple does, it's bad for Google, right? So there's going to be a battle between big tech. There's going to be a battle between Fidelity and PIMCO. Which fund company? There's going to be a battle between the insurance companies. Who do you want? The insurance company that gives you, like, what if I just collected $1,000 once and the life policy was free, no premiums for the rest of your life? Wouldn't I want that one, the free one? So in every single industry, the way that you win is you adopt a thermodynamically sound monetary network as the underpinning. You're going to build Manhattan, build it on granite. What is Bitcoin? Bitcoin is granite in cyberspace, right? It's the most stable property in cyberspace. So any country, any city, any company, any individual, any product, any service can be enhanced by plugging it into that network and then relying upon that as the source of energy in order to differentiate in a competitive world. I think that Bitcoin will grow in popularity this decade. This is the decade of Bitcoin, and it will spread to billions and billions of people. And it'll make the world a better place. It'll bring, economic empowerment to billions of people and brings hope to billions of people. And I'll be happy to fade into the woodwork and be forgotten when that happens. It won't bother me at all.